Hi everyone, welcome to Code Tab Management. So today we will discuss about the Spring Boot core topic, auto-wiring. So we have already made one video for the what is auto-wiring in Spring, but today I will try to cover all the topics for the auto-wiring. So first of all, again I am discussing like what is the auto-wiring in the Spring. So auto-wiring is a mechanism in the Spring that allows the framework to automatically detect and inject the dependent bins to the properties of the target bin without the need for explicit configuration. So this can save a lot of time and effort. So especially in the large scale applications where there are a large number of dependencies between the objects are there. So when we apply the auto varying, then Spring looks for the bins of the required dependency type in the container and automatically injects them into the dependent object. Okay. So there are specifically like at the rate auto this type of annotation is also there. So when we will add that type of annotations, right? So for that case it will looking for the proper bin. So how it will check? So for that there are different types are there. So like type, bin type, and this is basically the default type. Okay. So this is basically the default type. Then by name it can be there, and also constructor type is there. So many types are there. So for that, first of all it will look for the same type of bin, and if it will find the same type of bins, many same type of bins, then also there is one qualifier. So annotation qualifier will choose the proper type of bin, and it will set any bin which will be auto-wired. Okay. So for that case, no any other things we need not to look for. So there will be a proper automatically injection will occur. So this is basically the simple work by the auto-wired. Okay. Yeah. So now the second question is when to use the auto-wired annotation. So basically, when we want to instruct the Spring container to detect and inject the dependent beans to the properties of the target bin automatically, for that case only we will use the auto-wired annotations. Okay. So we can say like when we want to enable auto-wiring on a specific property, then we can achieve it by using the auto-wired annotation. And this annotation can be used to inject a bin into another bin. Okay. So already suppose one bin is already there. This is one bin, and this is suppose one another bin. And here some objects is already created. Okay. And these objects are required here. So when we will just add this auto add annotation. So through this, it actually does like when we want to enable this auto adding on a specific property, we can achieve it by using this auto add annotations. Okay, so this annotation can be used to inject a bin into another bin. So from this is bin A and this is bin B. So in bin B, we are just we can use this bin A by this auto add annotation. Means we can use this property, right, in this bin. Okay. So Spring will automatically resolve these dependencies and create the required objects. Okay. Through this AutoWord, right? So where can we use this AutoWord annotation? So we can use the AutoWord annotation in many level. Like, so first one is constructor level. So this is constructor level. Then we can say as field label. Next is setter method label. Okay. So normal method label as well. Okay. So we can already we can use these AutoWord annotations at constructor label, field label, setter label, normal label as well. Right? Okay. So these are done. So what next is what are the limitations of AutoWord means auto-wiring in the Spring? So basically auto-wiring in Spring is possible only on the reference type or object type properties. Uh, in other words, we can say like we cannot apply it with other property types such as primitive types or string types. We cannot do as. Okay, so this is only can be done only on the reference type. No primitive type will be possible. Okay, so and second one is like since auto wiring is done automatically, so it can create an ambiguity issue. So there will be ambiguity issue. So it can create ambiguity issues. So when there are two beings of the same type. So however, this issue can be handled after applying some additional logic. Like for that, I am saying like you can use the qualifier for that. Okay. So this issue can happen. So also it may lower the readability of the code. Okay. Lower readability of code. So these type of issues you can find only reference type. No, you cannot apply these other types like primitive types or string types. So as it is automatic, so ambiguity issue can occur. Okay, and also the lower readability of the code. So next is what is the ambiguity issue? Okay, I will discuss this one. So for that one, so like if we have multiple possible dependencies to inject to a property of the target class, and we did not specify which dependency needs to be injected, for that case, we might see like some exception, like you can say no unique means duplicate can be created, right? So no unique bean definition exception. No unique bin definition exception you can find. For example, like suppose we have some person class. Suppose this person class is there and some address class is there. So now, uh, furthermore, like address class has two child classes. Like one is like extends. So one is like permanent address. And another is suppose mailing address. Okay. So now we auto-add the address object in the parent class. Okay, using the auto-add annotation. Okay. So now in this class, Spring Container will get confused which address you want to auto-wire, either permanent or mailing address. So for that case, you will see no unique bin definition exception. Okay. So this is basically known as these are the child class. Okay. So this is one child class and this is also a child class. So now this person class confused like which address it will use or which one address it want to auto-wire. So for that reason, you will find this exception and this is known as this ambiguity issue. So in order to overcome from this issue, we explicitly need to specify particular type of address which needs to be injected, right? So this is basically then I will tell you about the multiple solutions of the ambiguity issue. Okay, let me clear my drawing. So multiple solutions of the ambiguity issue, we can do it by these three approaches. So one is using primary annotation or primary attribute. Next one, already I have told you, qualifier annotation along with the auto word, and the last of all is bean id, like bean id matching by updating bean id of the dependent classes. We also can do it. Okay, so first of all, like I will tell you about the approach one, which is like using the uh, primary annotations. Okay, so at the rate primary. Okay. So, so if you are using the XML driven approach to declare the Spring Beans, so you can include the primary attribute on the targeted bin. Okay. So if you are using only annotations, then it will you can add this in the class level and primary annotation to the targeted bin as the I am showing like here. So you can add this primary annotation first, and then like your component, and then your public uh, your class, your class name. Okay, your class name I am writing as cn, which will extends your parent class. Okay, so in this way you can use that one, and suppose another class is there, another class is there, so this will be also public class, then your second class name, so I'm writing as the cn1. This is the first class name, then which is the primary and component annotated, and this is only component annotated, the second bin. So here this also extends your parent class, right? And inside that your logic is there. So you can just do that at the rate primary annotations for that. Next one is like you can add the qualifier annotation. So just we can auto where the required bin with the means what we want to auto where, that we can also add the annotations like qualifier. So we will do that in this way. I can say like this is your public class, then some company, right? This is your class. Then you just Autowired, and then you will do like qualifier. And so basically there in the qualifier you will add the class name what you want to Autoware. Okay, then your do like something like private uh, employee employee. So here basically we have not provided any ID of this class name. So Spring Container will take the name of that class as it is with the first letter in the lowercase by default, and hence ID for this class name will be like here class name. So C will be small and N will be capital. So it will take the means ID will be generated automatically by just doing the lowercase of the first letter of this class name. Okay, so what I have said like so Spring Container will take that class name of the class as it is. Okay, so first letter will be as a small, so as a small cn. So if you are using the XML driven approach to define the bins, you should use the ID of that bin inside the qualifier annotation. Okay. And next approach is like bin ID matching. Okay. So here like there is one more way to resolve this ambiguity issue. So we can take the target class bin property name on which auto-add annotation is applied. So as the dependent Spring Bin class ID, for example, I can show you like this is public class, then the company is right there, and then class you will do the auto wired, and here like what I have told you, the private employee and object. So here, so just assume that you want to make the class name uh, as dependent. So since target bin property name is employee, so we can do it by making the class names that particular names, so that bin ID also as the employee. Okay, so you can just do like this bin ID equals emp, and class you can give that particular path of that, like that class name is in your like com dot dev dot your class name, right? So in this way, so then just close it, the bin. So through this also you can, means through the bin ID matching as well, you can do it. Okay. I'm clearing my drawing. So if you want to compare these three approaches, so if you want to compare between this primary and qualifier, so for that case, this qualifier will take the precedence. Okay. Then if you want to compare between qualifier and bin ID, bin ID matching. So for that case, also qualifier will take the precedence. If you want to compare between the primary and bin ID matching. So for that case, primary will take precedence. And if you, so from these three things, you can see that between this primary qualifier, the qualifier will be the mode, means qualifier will take precedence, and qualifier and bin ID also, qualifier will take the precedence. So you can see from these two only, like if you will compare between these three, like among three, like primary, qualifier, annotations and bin ID matching, so always the qualifier will take the precedence. So the qualifier approach is the most popular approach, so you can use that one only. Okay. The rest two you can remember, but this is the most appropriate approach. So now next is, what are the different ways to implement the auto wiring in Spring? So now this question. So there are many approaches like auto wiring through constructor injection, implicit single constructor injection, auto-wiring through setter injection, auto-wiring through field injection, auto-wiring through and normal method injection. Means there are these five approaches are there, or different five ways are there. So when you will do like auto-wiring through the constructor injection, so it means like auto-wiring through constructor injection is the way of implementing the auto-wiring where the dependencies are injected through the constructor. So in this type of auto-wiring, IOC container looks for the constructor that matches the arguments of the bin being created and injects the dependencies accordingly. So basically, I am just drawing here the flow, like this is your inversion of control container, right? So then it will looks for the constructor, and then basically uh, matches what arguments of bin, which are already being created. So then after matching that one, it will be injected. Okay. So this is basically the approach, right? So now I'm going to the next one. So implicit single constructor injection. So this is since Spring 4.3. So this is basically since Spring 4.3, like if our just one. So if our class has the single constructor only, then it's not mandatory to apply the auto-word annotations. Okay. So on the other hand, like if the class has more than one constructor, you need to instruct the Spring container which one you want to use with the help of auto-word. Okay. So like if I have already said, like if single constructor, then it will automatically detect that one. Okay. Otherwise you will just specify the particular thing, like more than, if there is more than one constructor, then you will just you need to instruct, or you need to address the Spring container that which one you want to use with the help of AutoWord. So this is not a big deal. For that you can do that one. So next one is auto-wiring through the setter injection. So auto-wiring through the setter injection is a way of implementing auto-wiring through the dependencies are injected through the setter method. So for that type of auto-wiring, IOC container in this here in the same way, like it will look for the constructor method, and for the setter it will just look for the setter method that matches the type of the bin being created and injects the injects the dependencies accordingly. Okay. So there will be some setter method will be there, and particularly IOC container will look for that setter method and it will be injected, this dependency. So this is the flow. Next is field injection. So here basically auto wiring through the field injection is a way of implementing the auto wiring where the dependencies are injected directly into the fields of the bin. So for that type of here as well, here IOC container is there. IOC container will look for a field. Okay, so it will look for the field that matches the type of the bin. Okay, always just it will look for the setter method, it will look for the field, look for the constructor method in this way only. So it will look for the field and then it will just match the type of the bin that will satisfy, or then it will just inject the dependencies accordingly. Okay, then the normal method is also there. So auto-wiring through the normal method. So auto-wiring through the normal method means so this method injection is a way of implementing the auto-wiring where the dependencies are injected through any method. So any kind of method just you want to just inject. So for that type, IOC container will look for the particular method that matches the type of the pin. Using the using that it will just inject the dependencies. Okay, so one thing just you can note for this normal method. So here you means there in the normal method must have the same signature as a setter method. So there also some setter method is there. So that same signature will be there and it will be injected properly, right? Next one is what are the different types of to declare the auto wiring in the Spring using XML configuration, using auto means annotation based configuration, using the Java configurations. Like what I have discussed in the like Spring, how you can create your Spring application. So that's also like through the XML configuration, through your annotation based configuration, and also the Java configuration. So XML configuration is one of the oldest and most traditional ways to declare the auto wiring in Spring. So in the XML configuration, the auto wiring is declared using the bin element, right? So basically the first approach is using the XML configuration. So here is the example. So I have already told you like XML configuration is one of the oldest and most traditional ways. So XML configuration, here the auto wiring is declared using the bin. So like it is like the bin ID matching. So here bin ID is there. So user service, what I have said, like it will take basically the first letter is in the small, you can see like this is the small case, and then it is as it is. So this is basically this user service class. You here the bin ID is set like the first letter is the small case, and the other things means the rest things is totally same, and their property name is like user repository, reference is user repository, and bin ID here you can see here for that user repository where the class is user repository. So here, like in this example, the user service is the bin, which is declared with the property uh, called the user repository. Okay, so which is set to the user repository bin. So this is your bin, and this is declared with the property. Okay, and this is set in the user repository bin, right? You got this. So let's go to the next one. So here, this is using the annotation based configuration. So this is the modern way to declare the auto wiring, and I can say like this is the most used now, mostly used now. So here in annotation based configuration, the auto wiring is declared using the annotations such as the auto word, qualifier. Okay, so this is the example, and here in this example, the user service and the user repository classes are annotated as this service and repository respectively. So which tells that the Spring to treat them as beans and auto add them as required. So here this uh, user repository, this is being auto add here, right? So after that, the another approach is like using the Java configuration. So let me clear my drawing. So this is the using Java configuration. So Java configuration is the another modern way. So you can use the XML based, or you can use means you can use the annotation based, and or you can use the Java configuration based for the modern applications, as these are basically mainly used there, right? So here you can see the example. And here in Java configuration, the auto wiring is declared using the pure Java code. Using the configuration annotation is there, uh, combination of like bean is there. Okay, then service, user service is there. This is also auto wired. Okay, so here in the example, like app config class is annotated with the configuration annotation, which tells the IOC container to scan the packages. So you know, right, this configuration annotations, what is the work of the configuration annotation? So configuration annotation basically tells the IOC container to scan the package for the components to AutoWire. So what are the components here? Like this is the first bin, this is the second bin. These are the main components. Okay, so to scan, it will just scan the package for the components to AutoWire, and the app config class also declares two bins. First one is this user service, second one is the user repository. So which are auto-wired using the constructor injection. So here you can see like the through the constructor injection, it is being auto-wired here, right? In this user service class. Okay. So from this app config through the auto-wired, these two will be injected here. Okay. So these are the three approaches. I think you get it. So let me clear the drawing once. Okay, so now the last some questions are there. Like, what are the best practices and considerations while using the auto wiring? Yeah. So first of all, like avoid the overuse of auto wiring. Okay. So basically, while auto-wiring can be suitable way to manage the dependencies between the objects, it should not be overused. So overuse of auto-wiring can lead to the code that is difficult to read, means there will be some readability issue and maintainability issue, and can also create some hidden dependencies that are hard to identify. So therefore, it is important to carefully consider which dependencies should be auto-wired and which should not be auto-wired. Okay. So after that, use constructor injection for mandatory dependencies. So we should consider constructor injection is the preferred way. You already have seen like there are many ways: the constructor type injection, then Sera type, field injection, then normal method injection. But constructor injection is the most preferred way for auto wiring dependencies that are mandatory for the object to function properly. So this is because constructor injection ensures that the object is in a valid state before it is used. So in contrast, like setter injection and field injection can leave the object in an invalid state. But constructor, through the constructor injection, it ensures that the object is in a valid state, right? So after that, the usage of qualifiers to disambiguate dependencies. So for some cases there may be multiple bins of the same type, what I have said you. So that need to be auto-wired. So in this case, Spring may not able to determine which bin to use for the auto-wiring. So there can be some ambiguity issues. So to disambiguate these dependencies, you can use the qualifier annotations or other appropriate approaches. Okay, what I have already mentioned. Then avoid circular dependencies. So circular dependencies occur when two or more objects depend on each other. Suppose this object A is there, object B is there. So object A is dependent on object B is also dependent on object A, right? So this is basically the circular dependencies. Okay, so two or more objects depend on each other. So either directly or indirectly. So circular dependencies can cause problems with the object initialization and can make it difficult to reason about the code. So it is generally best to avoid the circular dependencies if possible. So we can use the interface based programming or breaking the dependency cycle with the third object. So like we can use some object C. So you can object A can be dependent on object C and object B also can dependent on object C. In this way you can do that. Okay, so third party you can use mocking for unit testing. So when uh, writing some unit tests for objects that use auto-wire dependencies, it is important to use mocking, okay, to isolate the object being tested from its dependencies. So this allows you to test the object in isolation and avoid the dependencies on external systems or resources. So mocking frameworks such as Mockito, EasyMock, these are the frameworks for the mocking that can be used to create mock objects for auto-wire dependencies, right? So that's all for now. Many other questions also I will discuss in some other video. Okay, so till then, just keep watching, keep reading, and just keep practicing. And do like, share, and subscribe the Code Tab Management channel. Thank you, everyone.